I didn't go back to the tower right away after seeing that photo, because some part of me was still trying to hold on to a normal explanation. Something simple, like a camera glitch, or bad lighting, or even someone who just looked like me from a distance. But the problem with lies you tell yourself is that they start falling apart the moment you look at them too closely. And by late afternoon, I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I signed out a truck, didn't log a destination, and drove back toward the northern ridge with that same quiet pressure building in my chest that I had felt the night before. Like I was heading somewhere I wasn't supposed to return to but couldn't stay away from either. And the entire drive felt longer than it should have, the road stretching through trees that seemed just a little too still, like even the wind had decided to stay out of whatever was happening out there. When I reached the base of the old Watchtower, the first thing I noticed was that the gate was closed again, the chain wrapped neatly through the bars, not locked, just placed there carefully, like someone had taken the time to reset it after I left. And I stood there for a second staring at it, because I knew I hadn't done that, and no maintenance team had been scheduled, which meant either someone else had come up here since yesterday, or something had. I moved the chain aside and stepped in, already feeling that same weight in the air, heavier than the rest of the park, like the tower sat in a pocket of silence that didn't belong to the rest of the forest. And as I started climbing the metal stairs, each step echoed louder than it should have, the hollow clang bouncing down into the darkness below me in a way that made it impossible not to imagine another set of footsteps answering back from just out of sight. At the top, the room looked untouched at first glance, just the same dust, the same broken desk, the same dead monitor. But when I stepped inside, I realized the dust wasn't undisturbed this time. It had been shifted slightly. Not enough to leave clear prints, just faint trails like something had moved slowly across the floor and then stopped. And I told myself it could have been wind, even though I knew there was no way wind could reach inside a sealed glass room. I walked over to the window where I had seen the message the night before, expecting it to be gone, expecting to finally have something normal to hold on to. But as soon as I wiped the sleeve across the glass, the surface cleared just enough to reveal new marks, faint but deliberate, written from the outside again, and my chest tightened before I even read it because I already knew it wouldn't make sense. It wasn't a warning this time. It wasn't even a sentence, just a time. 3:12, the exact time from the camera photo. For a moment, I just stood there staring at it, trying to piece together how someone could have written that without being seen, without leaving tracks, without making a sound. And that's when I noticed the monitor behind me had a faint glow, something it had never done before. And when I turned, I saw movement on the cracked screen, a grainy recording playing on a loop from the camera mounted at the top of the stairs, showing the narrow staircase spiraling upward into the room I was standing in now. I stepped closer without thinking, drawn in by the motion, and then I saw him, or me, climbing the stairs slowly, one step at a time, stopping halfway up exactly like I had the night before, except this version of me wasn't looking ahead. He was looking down into the darkness below him, like he could see something the camera couldn't. And I felt this slow, cold realization settle in my chest, because I didn't remember doing that. I didn't remember stopping or looking back. But there it was on the screen, playing over and over again. I leaned in closer, trying to catch a glimpse of what he was looking at, but the camera angle cut off just below the landing, hiding whatever was beneath him. And then, as the footage looped again, something changed. Something so small, I almost missed it. The version of me on the screen shifted slightly, just enough for his face to turn a little more toward the camera. And even through the grainy image, I could see his expression wasn't fear, it was recognition. Like he knew exactly what he was looking at. That was the moment I heard it in real life, not loud, not sudden, just a slow, deliberate sound of weight pressing onto metal from somewhere below. One step, then another, perfectly spaced, perfectly steady, like someone climbing the stairs at the same pace as the recording on the screen. And every instinct in my body told me to turn around, to look, to confirm what I already knew. But I didn't move because deep down I understood something I hadn't wanted to admit until then. Something that made everything else fall into place in the worst possible way. And it was this. Whatever had been outside the tent, whatever had spoken through the radio, whatever had been caught on that camera, it wasn't following me through the park. It had been learning me, watching how I moved, how I spoke, where I looked, until it could stand in the exact same places, at the exact same times, doing the exact same things, and the footsteps below me stopped at the same point they had on the screen, just one step out of sight, waiting, like it already knew I wouldn't turn around.